The humid night air clung to everything in South Beach as 25-year-old Elena Marquez stepped out of the taxi onto Ocean Drive. She was still in her navy blue scrubs from a 12-hour shift at Mercy General Hospital, the kind of shift where 4 lines tangled, monitors beeped relentlessly, and patients whispered thanks through oxygen masks. Elena had chosen nursing for the quiet heroism of it, the way a steady hand could calm panic, the small victories of a stable pulse after chaos. But tonight, exhaustion gave way to something lighter. She had met him only 4 weeks earlier, at a charity gala for international medical aid. The event was held in a sleek downtown ballroom overlooking Biscayne Bay. Elena had attended reluctantly, dragged by a colleague who promised free appetizers and networking. Instead, she found herself in conversation with Khalid al-Rashid, a 38-year-old businessman from Dubai who sat on the board of several healthcare initiatives in the Gulf. He was polite, measured, with an easy smile that didn't feel rehearsed. They talked about pediatric oncology wards in developing countries, about the frustration of bureaucracy in medicine, about how sometimes the smallest gesture, a child's drawing taped to a hospital wall, could remind you why you kept going. Khalid spoke little of his wealth, though it was evident in the understated luxury of his watch, the quiet confidence of someone who never needed to prove anything. Elena appreciated that. She had grown up in a modest neighborhood in Hialeah, daughter of a single mother who cleaned hotel rooms to pay for her daughter's education. Flashy displays made her uneasy. Khalid's interest felt genuine. Questions about her patients, her dreams of specializing in neonatal care, her love for early morning runs along the beach. By the end of the evening, he had asked for her number. Not with pressure, but with a quiet hope. They exchanged messages over the next weeks, photos of sunsets, articles about medical breakthroughs, light teasing about her terrible taste in coffee. She preferred instant. He called it an insult to beans everywhere. When he invited her to dinner before his flight back to Dubai, she said yes. The dinner was simple. Fresh seafood at a quiet restaurant in Coral Gables. No entourage, no ostentatious gestures. Just conversation that stretched past midnight. He spoke of his life in the Emirates, long hours building family enterprises, the pressure of expectation, the rare moments of solitude on desert drives. She shared stories of night shifts, of holding hands with frightened elderly patients, of the day a premature baby finally breathed on her own. When he left the next morning, he promised to return soon. Elena believed him. Back in her small apartment in Brickell, Elena scrolled through photos from the past month. One caught her eye, a candid shot Khalid had taken of her laughing at something he'd said, the Miami skyline blurred behind her. She smiled at the memory and decided to share it, not for likes, but to mark a moment that felt like possibility. The caption was simple. Grateful for unexpected connections that remind you life can surprise you in the best ways. Here's to new chapters, new friends, and maybe something more. Hashtag Miami Nights, hashtag Grateful Heart. She tagged no one. No location check-in. Just the photo and the words. Within hours, friends commented, heart emojis, teasing questions, congratulations from colleagues who knew she'd been single for 2 years after a painful breakup. Elena went to bed feeling lighter than she had in months. She didn't notice the view count climbing steadily overnight. Khalid landed in Dubai at dawn, the city already shimmering under a relentless sun. His phone buzzed with notifications as he drove toward his villa in Jumeirah. He opened Facebook and saw Elena's post. A warmth spread through him. He saved the photo, intending to message her later. But the post had traveled farther than either expected. In a quiet office in Dara, 32-year-old Omar Nasser stared at his screen. Omar worked as a logistics coordinator for one of the Al-Rashid family companies. Efficient, discreet, always watching details others missed. He had known Khalid since university, considered him a friend, though friendship in their circles often carried unspoken hierarchies. Omar had harbored feelings for Khalid for years, feelings he kept buried beneath layers of professionalism and denial. He told himself it was admiration, loyalty. But the truth was sharper. When Khalid mentioned Elena casually during a business call, "I met someone interesting in Miami," Omar had asked polite questions. Then he searched her name, found her profile, watched her stories. The post appeared in his feed because a mutual acquaintance had liked it, pulling it into his algorithm. Omar read the caption again. New chapters, new friends, and maybe something more. The words twisted inside him. He told himself it was nothing, just a vacation fling. But the photo, of her smiling, carefree, nod at him. Khalid had never posted about anyone like this. Never spoken of anyone with that quiet excitement. Omar began to dig. Public records, social media trails, old posts. He learned Elena's shifts, her routines. He messaged her anonymously from a burner account, testing, beautiful photo. He seems happy. She didn't respond. He sent another, be careful. Not everyone is who they seem. Still nothing. The silence fueled him. He convinced himself he was protecting Khalid, from distraction, from scandal, from a woman who might only want the lifestyle. In his mind, Elena became a threat to the order he had always maintained. Elena noticed the first strange message in her inbox. An account with no photo, no name, you don't belong in his world. She blocked it, chalked it up to a jealous ex or random troll. She had dealt with worse online. Khalid called that evening. His voice was warm, apologetic for the time difference. They talked for an hour, about her latest shift, his meetings, plans for him to visit again in October. He said he had shown the photo to his sister. She thought Elena looked kind. Elena laughed. Tell her I promised not to steal the family yacht. Khalid chuckled. She'd probably let you. They hung up with plans to video call the next weekend. Omar's obsession deepened. He created multiple accounts, following Elena's friends, piecing together her schedule. He learned her building had lax security, buzzers instead of doormen after 10 p.m. He researched flights, visas, excuses for travel. He told his supervisor he needed personal leave for family matters. In Dubai, Khalid noticed odd behavior from Omar, long silences in meetings, distracted replies. He asked once if everything was okay. Omar smiled tightly. Just tired. Omar landed in Miami under a tourist visa. He checked into a mid-range hotel near the airport, rented a car, drove past Elena's building twice. He watched from across the street as she came home from work, scrubs wrinkled, hair in a messy bun. She looked ordinary. Human. That only made it worse. He sent one final message from a new account. You think this is real? He has obligations. Walk away. Elena blocked it, frustrated. She told a coworker about the weird messages. Probably some creep who saw the post, the coworker said. Delete and move on. Elena did. But unease settled in. Elena finished her shift at 11 p.m. She stopped for takeout, pad thai from the place on the corner. The street was quiet, the neon signs flickering. She entered her building at 11:47 p.m., security camera capturing her waving to the night guard. Inside her apartment, she kicked off her shoes, opened the food, scrolled her phone. A new message from Khalid. Can't wait to see you next month. Thinking of you. She smiled, typed back. A knock at the door startled her. She checked the peephole, empty hallway. She opened it cautiously, chain on. No one. She closed it, locked the deadbolt. Minutes later, another knock, insistent. This time, when she looked, a man stood there, face partially shadowed. He wore a dark jacket, cap low. Can I help you? She asked through the door. I'm looking for Elena. Friend of Khalid's. I have a message from him. Her heart quickened. Khalid hadn't mentioned anyone coming. Who are you? Just open the door. It's important. She backed away, phone in hand, dialing 911. But before she could hit call, the door rattled, hard. The chain held for a moment, then snapped. The struggle was brief. Elena fought. Years of lifting patience gave her strength, but he was larger, driven by something darker. He didn't want her dead immediately. He wanted her to understand. To stop. In the end, it was quick. A desperate act born of delusion. He left her on the floor, the takeout spilled beside her, phone screen still glowing with Khalid's message. The night guard noticed her door ajar during morning rounds. He called out, then entered. He found her and called police. Detectives arrived within the hour. The apartment showed signs of forced entry, a struggle, but no theft. Her purse, laptop, jewelry untouched. On her phone, the chain of messages from anonymous accounts, all traced later to IP addresses in Dubai and Miami hotels. Security footage showed a man entering the building behind another resident, face obscured. But a partial plate on a rental car led to the hotel. Omar was still there, packing to leave. He confessed almost immediately. In the interrogation room, he spoke calmly, as if explaining a logical decision. She was going to ruin him, he said. He has responsibilities. Family. Business. She posted it for the world to see. I had to protect him. The detectives listened without interruption. Omar believed his actions were loyalty. Love, even. Khalid flew to Miami the next day. He sat with detectives, stunned. He had never suspected. He had considered Omar a friend, reliable, quiet. The betrayal cut deeper than grief. Elena's funeral was small. Colleagues from the hospital filled the pews. Her mother held a single photo, the one from the post, clutched in trembling hands. Friends spoke of her compassion, her laugh, how she made even the hardest shifts bearable. The case drew brief attention. Headlines about online harassment crossing into violence, the dangers of public posts in an interconnected world, the clash of cultures and expectations. But Miami moved on. The beaches filled again. The hospital hired a new nurse for Elena's floor. Khalid returned to Dubai. He never posted about her. But he kept the photo, private, unshared. A reminder of what might have been, and what obsession can destroy. Omar was extradited, tried, convicted. Life without parole. In prison, he wrote letters to Khalid, still insisting it was for his sake. Khalid never replied. Elena's Facebook profile remained active for months. Friends left messages, memories. Eventually, it went quiet. One post lingered in archives. The photo, the caption. A moment of joy that echoed too far, too loud, until it became a warning. Life, it reminded anyone who looked, can surprise you in the worst ways too.